Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, and our streak of glorious mornings is over. Apparently, the rain will lighten up at some point, and that's good because it was raining very, very heavily, if that's a word, about 10 minutes ago. But alongside Seth Merrow, I'm Anthony Mormino. We are off the turf for everything except the Glens Falls, I guess, as of now, and they'll try and get it as a long-distance turf race later in the day. So we'll see. Pay attention to the network for all the changes. The other turf races, I'm sure we'll see some amount of changes, but very wet at the moment.
Yeah, and it was, I think it was just kind of coming down a little bit most of the morning. By the time I hopped in my car, it was really kind of a sprinkle. And when I got here, it was a sprinkle. And then sat on the set and took my papers out, and it came down. But it came down, I mean, it was only about 5 minutes that it was really coming down. And now it's lightened up, but there is still a little precipitation.
And they had taken the races off the turf before the last little blast.
Like I say, there was a steady, I guess, overnight. I don't know how long it had been going on, but it had been going on a while by the time I hopped in my car, clearly.
One of the days I'm very dialed into the weather because this is the annual day. My two best friends and our wives make a whole day of it and an evening of it. And last year we had a glorious day. Year before that, an even better day when Surge Capacity won the Lake George. And my wife goes, "What are we going to do with a $79.80 superfecta?" I said, "I don't know, but if I could have the other 9, you can have the 1. Knucklehead. And she's a track person. I go, "We have it 10 times. We bet dollar supers." And that's how I was dialed into the fact that they changed how they put it up on the board. Yeah. They went to the dollars, etc. So big day yesterday in San Diego. Big day yesterday here.
Yeah, people should not ignore 2 nice performances out of Del Mar yesterday. Nisos and Brandt.
First-time starter came as billed. Larry Comas threw out the $3 million part. The horse did his part for Bob Baffert, and Nisos. The 2 things, Seth, that I've really thrown away is I don't care about layoffs anymore. And my rule of thumb used to be better end horses never come back after a substantial layoff. I threw that away too because it's almost like off the charts. This Nisos. This is just what he did yesterday in the San Diego was rough. I don't know if I'm journalism. I want to run in the Pacific Classic.
Yeah, I've been saying all along, kind of a weak, older division out there, and you think journalism might take the shot by Hazen. But yeah, with Nisos, maybe the Pennsylvania Derby.
What's Plan B?
Yeah.
And here, Seth, the last Kentucky Derby winner to win the Jim Dandy.
Oh.
I'll give you a hint. It was on a Tuesday.
The Jim Dandy was on a Tuesday? No, Jim Dandy was on a Tuesday?
You're not old enough.
Was it the year of the 7-day-a-week?
No.
Oh. I don't know.
Affirmed.
Oh. Why was it on a Tuesday?
Well, we didn't run on Sundays.
Oh,
they ran the Whitney on Saturday. I'll give you a better one.
Yeah,
they used to run the Jim Dandy on Alabama Eve. You talk about the old 9 days between the test and the Alabama. About the old days of 8 days between the Jim Dandy and the Travers.
Yeah,
but I think
really a different era.
It's been nearly 50 years since a Derby winner. And here we go. Round 2. It is pouring. And I mean pouring.
It's coming down.
Wow. See, years ago, some brilliant engineer for us, we slope downhill, so the set can't go away unless it's real bad. The puddles,
yeah, it's coming down.
So nearly 50 years almost since a Derby winner won the Jim Dandy.
And it was.
I don't know. Can they hear us easily now? Is the audio good with this?
Yeah, no, I think
it's fine?
Yeah.
I thought it was a tremendous performance by Sovereignty. I thought
it was very good. And it was funny on the backstretch.
He
kind of went backwards a little bit for a few strides,
trouble.
And everybody, the crowd was like, "Oh!" And then about 3 strides later, he got back in gear.
And I've said this before on the dirt course, except for a few, very few exceptions, it has not been giving up fast times. The reason I bring that up is I think 149 and change is stellar on this track. And I'm not so sure Baeza didn't run big too.
I think he did.
You know, the buyers will come out. You know, sometimes, you know, what's that old line? Life is timing. Baeza has bad timing.
Yeah. No,
because that was a big performance. And then on the opposite side, I want to say on the turf, I think the opposite. I think the turf, and it might change on Wednesday, but the turf has been yielding phenomenal times. They went back to the old distance of the Lake George, 1 mile and a 16th, after running it at about 1 mile for 5 or 6 years. And I think New York bred fillies went about 1 tick slower than the Lake George. So the turf has been giving up fast times. Now, that being said, it was on the inner set, and the inner has the rails down. So I believe the teletimer, and I just think the turf, until today, has been baked and rock hard and gave us some fast times. So, you know, kudos to Rusty Arnold and, you know, scoring the victory. But I think the turf has been giving up quick times, and I think the dirt has been just the opposite.
Hats off to David Aragona. I had him yesterday. We looked at a few races, and he liked Daisy Flyer. So
what was she coming out of the Here Comes the Bride down at Gulfstream Park? Was her last race Gulfstream Park?
I don't have the PP.
Well, no, you have the
the
does it say GP?
No, yeah, GP.
That's the Here Comes the Bride.
Yeah.
So she's had a layoff, only a couple starts this year, and I have to tell you, I thought Classic Q was home.
Yeah, Classic Q ran well, but Daisy Flyer
and she got run down.
Got the neck. There was a neck and a nose from second to third, so there were 3 of them right there. I'll also tip my cap to my friend Pete. Saw him in front of the paddock bar where he has a seat during the day, and he really liked Nona Lynn, winner of the 11th race. And I'm tipping my cap because he was really high on the horse. He had done a little trip note and liked that one. So that was a good call there, certainly. And I jumped in. 2 of mine scratched out of the Lake George. So I was only left with 2 picks, Classic Q being one of them. And I thought, I'm going to play a little pick 4 with Sovereignty. And if I use Sovereignty and Classic Q, I'm not going to get anything. So, and both of the 2 that I had left, the 2 that scratched were prices. And so I didn't really have any value. So I'll tip my cap to David Aragona. I singled his horse. I singled Sovereignty. I went 5 by 3. So I had a $7.50 ticket. One of mine scratched out of the 5-horse leg, and then the favorite wins. And I'm thinking, I don't know how this is going to be with a favorite and Sovereignty winning. And then the last race was 7-10, but David Aragona's $16 horse. So I had for $7.50 with the scratch and the favorite winning ahead, had it for $1. Paid $86. You got $180 back. And for $7.50, I was happy with the result. But again, I'll tip my cap to David Aragona because I jumped on his pick trying to find some value.
And that was a pick 4?
Yeah.
Which is really kind of a pick 3 with Sovereignty.
Yeah.
So what was it for 50 cents?
86, I think, something in that vicinity. 86,
I kind of, for the pick 3, made a benchmark of it just in my mind. And I'm not like 125 is kind of like I thought for because as you said, it turned it into a quasi pick 3 because you did get it for 50 cents. You didn't have to go for a true pick 3 for $1. So there's some goodness there. And just the one thing, and people out there might think that I'm patting myself on the back wrong, but from my evolution as a handicapper, than a public handicapper, this is relevant. I was a guy who loved Arthur's ride in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and he ran about an 84. Well, he ran about an 84 again. And like when you can just disengage yourself and be like, and it double counts for me because Film Star won. But I'm just, I have like a pride in myself that you just are like, I say it all the time when people come up to me and they're like, geez, how do you pick against these 1 to 2 shots? I'm like, did you ever see them lose? I said, one of them won yesterday and one of them lost. And if you bet both of them, you lost on the day.
And Arthur's right. I also took a shot.
In great hands. Bill Mott had, you can't ask for anything better.
So I won the battle, lost the. I was really treading water all day yesterday. I will admit that was probably the worst day of picking through the meet so far.
Here's one
but
thing.
I did have the against Arthur's ride. I just didn't have the win. But there was a 6-month layout, or more than that. You run in the Breeders' Cup, you're on a dud, you come back in July. There was a little bit of I had the horse in a mix, obviously. I think probably everybody had it someplace, but I was willing to take a shot against on the top.
You had the morning line odds person that gave you a horse. That, we don't ride. So that's got to count as a coming on the show and winning.
Oh, yeah.
That has to count.
Yeah.
The morning line odds person gave you a horse that paid what? $16. Yeah. That's like 2 check marks.
No, that was good.
That counts in the what do we got to call this? Not parade of winners. That's too easy. But we got to come up with a name of
somebody
people that
texted me the other day
with the title of it.
I'll look it up during the break, and it was pretty good. Had something to do with Claire Court. I'll look it up.
You got to look it up. So she said she obviously you saw it and you thought kindly of it.
I did.
So you gotta find it because we got to use it if it's good. I mean,
I meant to write it down. And
we're definitely not using Cavalcade of Stars, but. 50-year-olds out there are going, 55-year-olds are out there going, what is he talking about, this guy?
Yeah.
Pick
Our
more
shows, Ed Sullivan.
Not cast the characters. You got to come up with something. If he's got it on Wednesday, we'll have it for you. But it's dripping rainy, but the damage has been done. I will say this, I live in the Capital District, and I talked about how sharp this inner turf has been giving us times. So maybe the rain and 2 days rest, like we're only going to have 1 turf race in 3 days. So, grass is in good shape. The rain helps my lawn downstate and helps this here. So,
and now 5 minutes later, it's pretty much stopped.
Yeah. So it's the ebb and flow.
Crossed that that's
but the guys have been saying that I guess this is a morning thing. I don't think the afternoon. Yeah, obviously, the damage is done for the races, but coming up and enjoying yourselves. And I have no in the old days, the giveaways were on Sundays. It was just so easy. We did the Hawaiian shirt. When's the next one? And what is it? I can't.
The blanket was Friday, I think.
They did the blanket on Friday?
Yeah. Next one, I do not know.
Because I think there's one of them, and the blanket, the Hawaiian shirt, I would have been on the fence with. But I think there's one that I do like. The producer will get it. Is that what you're doing?
Oh, I went over the harness track last night.
I saw you post it.
Match race, and it was fun. It was a really nice night. I mean, it was a nice night. There was.
Was it still daylight when they did the match race? I thought that'd be cool.
No,
that's when you posted.
No,
you posted a daylight shot.
It was. I think the first one went off about 8:45, and they were right back to back. But Trevor McCarthy just got nipped, and Katie Davis just got it by a little bit. But there was a really nice crowd over there. A lot of folks, familiar faces from over here. Frankie Dettori was over there. Jackie Davis was over there looking good, which is good. I wanted to go up and talk to her. Talk to Robbie a little bit, Robbie Davis. But Jackie was participating in Winter Circle photos and stuff. And for folks who aren't familiar, she had a really tough spill earlier this year up at Finger Lakes. But she's clearly on the mend and looked to be doing well. So that was good. But again, it was a fun night over there for some of the horse racing charities, and highly recommend it if they do it again next year. Nice night, and it was a huge. I drove in the parking lot. The parking lot was packed for me.
August 8th is the pennant. That's a 0. Yeah. I had pennants when I was a 7-year-old. I love them. Tote bag. The missus might appreciate that. On the 22nd. So what's that? Travers Eve?
Could be.
I think it is. And then on the 31st is the one that I'm definitely dialed into, the quarter zip, which has become
that looks all
enormously
right.
popular the last 5 to 7 years. So one thing I want to bring up, and I knew at some point I had hoped at some point in my life this would happen, and we're almost there. What I mean by that, when I was 8 years old, they moved the World Series at night, and everybody went crazy. The Oaks in prime time. I am a 3 thumbs up guy, and I knew the old people on the lawn would come out, and I'd be the old man going, "You're wrong. The naysayers about the World Series were wrong, and the naysayers about the Oaks are wrong. This is a no-brainer." And how you sit there, nobody sees the Oaks on Friday afternoon. We work. I've been to the Breeders' Cup on Friday. It doesn't work. I knew the day would come, and I'm the old guy going, yes. Me and Charlie Finley knew.
Well, that's probably a good point, though. I was going to say, I want to see how it's going to work, but you're right. It's a Friday afternoon. So, yeah, you're right.
And listen, Saturday afternoon doesn't work either. They don't do it at 5:30. A lot more people work on Saturdays. People are busy on Saturday. Prime time, and I knew it would happen, and they came out, and I go, you're the 1970 baseball fans that thought it was a gas that the World Series would be played at night. So what? 340 million people can see it?
And,
I was like, I knew they'd come out on horse racing Twitter. I go, these are the people.
Like, I will say, I'm curious to see how it goes, but it didn't bother me. I'm perfectly okay with it.
It bothers me that they've delayed the other one. Just run it at night.
Well,
this is where people can see it.
Yeah.
You know, the Final Four, because for those who don't know, Seth is a Syracuse alum, but he loves college basketball. The Final Four, the national semifinals used to be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and then 3:30. Now, when are they? 6 o'clock at night and then 9:45. It's like, you notice a pattern anywhere here? Yeah. You know, the idea is to reach your greatest audience. Your greatest audience is not 6 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday or Saturday.
Prime time, I would guess, brings in a whole new audience as well.
Well, the whole idea when NBC, the big ticket, took the hour of the Classic with Zenyatta.
Yeah.
And I've always said this. My biggest one is, I'll give you the example. The Songbird Beholder Breeders' Cup race is probably one of the 3 greatest races I've ever seen. And no one talks about it or anything. Why? It was Friday afternoon at 5:30. You talk about 2 horses with a record that they had, the championships they had, and the race itself. You know, people go crazy about Rachel Alexander. She beat Macho again. I'm like, no one thinks of him at all. But for Beholder
the thing with
and
the
Songbird.
Breeders' Cup, though, is you wind up at tracks that can't do nighttime. Belmont being one of them, the new Belmont being one of them. So
They haven't figured out lights?
Well, but you put up lights for one night.
They used to do that at Notre Dame.
I was going to say, I suppose they have temporary lights.
And I've been at Hollywood Park at night. The stanchions aren't that big. But, I mean, I knew this would happen. They'd be like, who is advocating for Friday at 6 o'clock? Who? Nobody.
Yeah.
Except horse racing Twitter. And here's the question I have, because I'm telling you, the CAWs and everything are crazy. I have two questions. One person raised it. Have you ever seen a horse triple in odds at the top of the stretch?
Oh, that's interesting.
Only seems to go one way.
Yeah.
Which is randomness doesn't count to that. And secondly, what would happen if we cut them all out like 90 seconds before?
Yeah.
Would they leave the market? Because what happened in 2 races last night at Del Mar makes you want to, take up high line.
I was walking out of the harness track last night, and it was being commented on. I'd run into a prominent player who was commenting on those changes and noting that even exactas these days, it's hard to know what to look for and play because those prices change significantly.
The horse at Del Mar was 18-1 going into the gate. You're expecting nearly $40. You got 14.
Now, you say, do they triple the other way? My thing, though, is...
Has it ever?
But they can't win all the time. And if So if that horse doesn't win yesterday, everybody's getting a better price. But it's not a 1-to-1 thing because all of that money gets spread out amongst the rest of the field. But you're getting a better price.
But has a 3-to-1 shot ever gone up to 9-to-1 at the far turn?
Everybody else did go up with the money but then
1
horse
point.
won. And so, yeah. So,
1 or 2
but you
points.
still got.
And in case it's not sharp enough, my man, I can tell, is wearing a University of Arkansas tie. Suey.
Yeah. I
Obviously, your sister.
Yeah. I pulled it out of the closet, and I thought, I'll go a little Arkansas today. Has no horse racing relationship, but yeah, my sister.
So how far? I know you don't have to say where she lives, but how far from the one in Fayetteville, which is the major University of Arkansas, is she?
She's essentially in Fayetteville. She's not. She's in a little town a little further
northwest
up.
of it, right?
Hop on at something. Her place is wild. You hop on something like the Northway. You get off, and then you're on a little road, and you drive. I don't know.
This is my point. So his sister went about 25 miles, let's say, and got him a tie. I went 7,500 miles one way to get him a tie.
I had that one late.
I know.
That one's.
I've never seen the Arkansas one because I would not miss that if you ever wore it. I picked it up right away.
But I almost wore yours, but I was kind of saving that for a bigger day.
At least a sunny day, because it was sunny at Flemington when I was there.
And wasn't that the gift shop where they had the guy with the
No, that's Keeneland's gift shop.
Oh, okay.
The one at Flemington is very nice, but no, Keeneland has a doorman, And my wife got to see it. She goes, I didn't think you were lying to me. She goes, I just find it amazing that a gift shop at a racetrack has a doorman who, by the way, is wearing a blazer. So that sums up how nice Keeneland is. Steve Bix, the Paul play of the day. I'll tell you one thing. It's amazing how the rain just.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
Hey, everybody. Steve Beck back with you for the DePaula play of the day to close out week 3 after a terrific Jim Dandy day where your Derby Belmont Dual Classic winner, Sovereignty, set himself up for a Travers run as Bill Mott tries to get his first. We've got some rain anticipated on Sunday morning, so it's hard to know if we're going to have turf. And I imagine that the Glens Falls stays on the grass no matter what. They're only expecting maybe a little more than a half an inch. So if that's the case, keep an eye on No-Show Sammy Joe for Graham Motion. That's the 2 in the 7th. And I thought Dazzling Dictator, the 7, who's 6-1 for Rudy Brissett, was okay. But I'm going to try to make a more reliable selection in terms of a main track. And the 4th race, you got a horse for Chris Davis, Conquering Cat, coming out of an allowance win at Penn National. But before that, 2 solid efforts for this level at Churchill. And the Churchill main track horses have been running lights out. So give them extra credit. 6-1, the 4-horse, Luis Saez, on board for Ty Connor, who avoided much more serious injury the other day at Colonial. Still is going to be laid out for a while. But Conquering Cat, your 4-horse in the 4th race, your DePaula play of the day. Back with you on Wednesday to start Hall of Fame week. Good luck, everybody.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Do note on this 10-race card, at this moment, everything is off the turf except the Glens Falls. And as per usual, they'll do their absolute best to keep it on. On the other side, we think the worst of the weather is a AM thing. So hopefully things will improve. The opener starter allowance going 9.
5 for the 1 entry and 6. I'm going to put Our Liberty Bell on top. Comes in off a try up here back on July 10th. Pretty good try there. Decent little closing third at 6 furlongs. Races before that, 1 turn mile downstate. I think this stretch out is kind of interesting for this one off the closing effort at the sprint last time. Irad Ortiz hops on board. I think could be interesting in here. As I say, the stretch out intrigues me. Colonial Rose in the second spot off a nice win down at Churchill last time for Norm Cassie. That was first off the claim. It was at this level. Jose Ortiz was on board that day, back on board again today. So I think a logical player as well. The Kentucky horses have been doing well here so far in the meet. And then the 1 entry for Linda Rice. I kind of enough said there. It's a Linda Rice combo, but Conquito coming off a nice win and a claim. Linda, of course, does very well off the claim. And Whistler's Style ran a nice second, first off the claim last time. And I would expect to fit in with this bunch. Class-wise, I think is going to be okay. So both of those look like players. 5 for the 1 entry and 6.
Were you surprised at even money on Colonial Rose?
I was. Yeah, absolutely I was.
And when I say surprised, you should there's I'm just David is great at his job. Great. That's, the common thing now is full stop. He's great at his job, full stop. I was surprised. And the reason I'm more surprised is, for me personally, is how I compartmentalize all efforts on the sloppy track. Like his buyer is noticeably better. Her buyer is noticeably better.
Plays into, I would assume, the price, but it's kind of sitting there out on its own.
Absolutely right. But because I come from a prejudicial angle of I put them in a little box, you move away. Most of these horses have a victory. I think I saw at least 5 of the 7 have a victory on the off going. So I don't think that's a stick out advantage. So I went for a price. I'm 6, 1A and 4. Pistol Liz Ablazing is my top pick, and I'm 2 for 3 on the off going, and I have Coquito in second, coming off of a nice victory. This is I think, Seth, the only horse who doesn't have a box on the wet going, but is, to me, projecting out. Curlin and Uncle Mo indicates as grandsires, and then Colonial Rose 6, 1A and 4.
Second race today at Saratoga, conditional claimers, 17.5 tags, non-winners of 3 lifetime, 9 furlongs is the distance.
By the way, a lot going on from yesterday, but the Steve Asmussen back-to-back 8-5 morning line double, he got it. Yesterday, Steve Asmussen's 2 runners are both 8-5, and he got it. 3-7-4 for me, 5-2-2. Linda Rice claimed this was for $40,000. That was around Thanksgiving. Laid off, came back on the 3rd opening day of this summer. And I like that comeback race of you have AP, Indy, and Curlin as grandsires. Once again, Moisture I'm not afraid of. Florida Flower first off the claim for Wayne Potts. Good effort downstate at the 1 turn mile. And then Foxy Cara, 3-7-4.
I'm 3, 7, 6, and 5. I do have 5-2 on top. Linda Rice trainee, second start of the season, off of an okay foundation for the season against similar last time. Florida Flower, Irad Ortiz hopping on board off the claim for Wayne Potts. That's okay off the claim. I mean, it's not a number that jumps off the page, but it's okay. And I think this one is going to do well off the claim, given that we're essentially coming back at a similar level this afternoon. And then in the 3rd spot, Backstretch Rose hasn't been seen since March. That's a little bit of a knock, and now makes a class move that I think is going to be beneficial for this one. So 3, 7, 6, and 5.
On to the third. We're off the turf. Remember, 2-year-olds shorten up to 7/8. They don't run the mile. They run 7/8. I think because we're off the turf and there's an MTO that looks like a serious player, and in the body, I'm not so sure. I think the majority are going to stay. Tappett's Legacy, who's the MTO, is the old competitive edge angle. He only needs one to scratch out for him to have the right to run.
Dark horse play of the day today. I'm going to stick with the 10, but if that one scratches, we'll see. I actually, with the move to the main track, Tappett's Legacy is certainly playable. But I made my dark horse play of the day, Sunrise, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga, both in downtown Saratoga. And Sunrise by Caraconte, a sire I like quite a bit for first out runners. Now, I was a little more attracted to this horse on the turf, but if Todd Pletcher elects to stay in, I think, again, with a little win early breeding, steady string of workouts, decent price, Jose Ortiz, I'll stick here. I don't want to go too deep into it because, again, we may scratch. If we scratch, you can check Twitter, and the guys will put it up on the screen, I assume, during the day. I'll put together another dark horse play of the day if we scratch. But, again, if they stick in, I'll stick with number 10.
But also, in a way, you're kind of protected here because Todd Pletcher has the MTO, so he's going he's going to scratch you out and protect you, because he has the other one coming in. You're probably not going to get left flapping in the wind.
Yeah, you would
that's
think,
nice.
yeah.
That's nice.
But I'll stick with Sunrise. Nice. Again, Tappett's Legacy, situationally is probably the one to beat that they elected to make that one an MTO. And then Olivetti in the mix as well. Chad Brown, runner by Munnings, so there's some win early there as well. Again, on the dirt, I'm going to use the 11, but if the 10 sticks in, I think worth taking a look at is the dark horse, 11, 10, 2, and 5.
And I know they only ran third, but Academia ran hard for 3/4 of the race. The type of debut you expect him to get beat 24 lengths, but kept coming. It was never threatening the winner, but as an individual performance, Academia looked in trouble at the half-mile pole and never stopped. In here, Tappett's Legacy is going to add to the depth of this race if he gets in. Now, I do think British Invasion would be one to come out, Seth, but I have to tell you, I think the rest might stay in. Belmont might scratch the 9 because of the debut effort, and yours might scratch. But 2 through 8, I expect to stay in this race. And for me, the 5 and the 8, which I had in the mix, would remain in the mix. I would bring in the 11. But I think 2 through 8 are strong contenders to stay in. The 1 to me seems to be, with that pedigree, I'm out.
Yeah, I had Terry Finley in yesterday, and it sounded like if they went to the main track, they were. Yeah. Sounded like, again.
Yeah, I mean, you could see a lot of things pointing to that. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more from a rainy morning at Clare Court.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on a rainy Sunday morning here at Saratoga. We'll kick back in with race number 4.
Hold on. Give them the news.
Ellis, the news was actually out yesterday. I think a lot of people are aware.
Oh, did they?
But they canceled
for 2
because
Oh,
of
that's
heat.
right.
Yeah,
that's right.
They canceled today and tomorrow because of heat at Ellis.
And they said the Sunday card is coming back Friday, and the Monday races are going to be extras. You are right. That was on. That might have been, honestly, it's not that people need to know this, but might have been the last thing I read.
Oh, it was
because usually I go through.
It was out yesterday.
I don't care if people say I love X. I love Twitter, and it's usually the last thing I do, and that's why I remember they said they're going to run Friday the Sunday card, and Monday would be the extras.
There's plenty great about Twitter, but there's plenty that is not good about Twitter as well.
Okay, here's it. I don't want it to go away. I'll put it that way. I want it to keep keep it on.
I wish that's a whole other. Do away with the algorithms because I just think it makes it a mess. But fourth race today at Saratoga, plain vanilla $75,000 claimers. They will go the 1-turn mile.
That might be the equivalent of kicking out the CAWs. If there's no algorithm, there's no money. We're out.
Yeah, no,
we're out.
That's
Thanks.
We're
not playing.
We're going to push stuff to you to keep you addicted to it, and because of that, we're pushing all crap to you. Essentially,
yes, that's how it is. 276 for me. I guess, I like the inside. I like the fact of coming off of 2-turn races and adding that with some speed. Now I'm hoping some, races and shortening up and being inside, and you add the moisture. Best Friend Rocket is my top pick now in the barn of Riley Mott, was in the coach's barn. Art Fair, Tracy Farmer, Mark Cassidy, another horse inside. Good early speed. It's going to be on the outside. Stick with the head on for a while, and then Just Licorice, which I happen to like very much. Won it off the turf going a mile. Is this the direction you like? The allowance into claiming?
Yeah.
The New York bred?
Yeah, usually it's a little, they go down the ladder a little more. It was supposed to 75, but it's still certainly potent. And in fact, I use Just Licorice on top. Does go state bred allowance into a claiming race. As they say, usually they make the move. It's not at a 75 level, but I still think it's going to be a potent move. It's Linda Rice, Kendrick on board. Seems logical coming in good form, including a win here in the latest start. Art Fair in the second spot. Might try to take them all the way. I'm not thrilled that at the 1-turn mile I'm on the outside with mine, but I think with the 6 and the 7, you're still within the realm of post positions that can work. And with that early speed, I would think Art Fair will be okay. And then I do go inside with Joey Muscles because I had to have somebody on the inside there. And I think that this horse is a logical player, was out of the mix in the last couple of starts, but I'm hoping rebound because you don't have to go too far back to see much better efforts in the fourth. 6, 7, 1, and 5.
Now, this is a spreadsheet I'm never making, but I'll throw it out there. I'm surprised when New York breds drop into almost any level of claiming. Now, this is 75 when they still have that allowance condition left, or even 2 allowance conditions left. I'm not going to do the data to find out whether it's a mistake financially. Once you won the 2X, well, then it's, no rules. Off the turf, we're going to shorten up to a mile in race 5. State bred maiden claimers in for 50. I do think this race is going to change much.
And I changed up, I have. And if you go to the website, capitalotv.com, click on the one sheet. I always have dirt picks for turf races. And some races I don't change up much. This race I did 10, 11, the one entry, and 9. 10 is on the MTO list. And Linda Rice is pretty clever when she picks these MTO spots. And this one goes maiden special weight to maiden claiming. I think that's a potent move, and they get what they want with the main track only situation. Now, did kind of clunk last time on a sloppy track, but it was against better. It was against maiden special. So number-wise, I think stacks up nicely with this group. I'll tilt there. Oath of Omerta in the second spot, also on the MTO list. Also, last couple of starts weren't much, but one was on the turf. One wasn't off the turfer. Wasn't great. The third start back, well, there was a start in January, but third start after a layoff. I wouldn't be surprised to see a better effort here. And then the one entry, the 1A is more what I'm looking at.
Right.
But the plain one, if they stick in, I'm perfectly happy to get 2 for 1. And another one that the last couple of starts aren't much, but given the situation here, I think a bounce back to an okay number is possible. 10, 11, the one entry, and 9.
Now, it's intriguing. Seth gave you the 4 MTOs. I don't know that the 1 is going to help the 1A very much. If you take the entry, I don't think you're getting a lot of help from one part of it. But even Mozambique, who's 9 to 5 of the morning line, that slop effort during the Belmont meet up here is not too good. So I'm playing the other game. My guess is the 2, the 4, the 5, and the 8 come out. The only opinion I can say at 9:41-ish is I'm not so sure the MTOs dominate this race. I don't think that they do on paper. I think the buyer par is NA, which comes up far too often, I think, at this point that they have them settled. But, you know, do you think, I mean, Mozambique's first time in for a tag, but 9 to 5 off of that effort in the slop? Well, I guess maybe he was thinking the November 2nd race.
Yeah, if you're looking at horses in the body of the field and their dirt efforts, I don't know if there's anything in there that really jumps out either.
Yes, I think
so. I went with horses that are getting what they want.
I think there's a lot of 57s out there.
Yeah. All right, race number 6 this afternoon. State bred maiden specials going 7.
Just one thing: 1, 2, and 8, and I am scheduled to break from the number 8 post position with my top pick, whose horse did run well in the slop off of refreshing for Mr. Bond, who we did not see today.
Oh, I saw him.
Did you?
The cart was empty, and he was wearing a raincoat.
Okay. All right. Even the dog didn't want to go out.
The dog was not with him.
From the rail, keeping it real. Chad Brown's runner, major player in here. Ran in the slop off of October layoff. And for third, a first-time starter. Crescendo's reign. And with Into Mischief having 2 winners yesterday, if you don't count the July 5th race, they're tied. I'm counting the July 5th, not this time, is ahead. 1, 2, 8.
2, 6, the 1 entry, and 7. I did put the Chad Brown runner on top off a series of improving numbers. And it was one of those horses that I've talked about. Lightly raced 2-year-old, had a break. They can come back, improve. This one did, number-wise. Finishing position was right there as the second place finish, same as the season ender last year, but the number went forward. And I think the number we had on the sloppy track is good enough to mix it up with this group. Second spot, 2 Honest Mischief. Hasn't been seen since May, start in January, and then a little bit of a break, March, April, May. They all were okay efforts. They were all third place finishes, and I think they were good enough, again, to mix it up with this group, the last one on a muddy track. And then Alzero and Spiteful Storm, the entry from the aforementioned Jim Bond. Alzero has nice experience, nice improvement last time in an off-the-turf race. But I think Spiteful Storm has a little bit of breeding and some workouts that say he might be okay in the debut. In the 6, 2, 6, the 1 entry, and 7.
One quick note. I talked about yesterday when we were talking about how Chad Brown, 7 of his 10 Dianas went to chalk. Yesterday marked the 7th consecutive year the favorite lost to Lake George. Of those 7, the first 5 were Chad's. Obviously, by what I said, none of them chalk. So Chad Brown's won 12 of the Premier Philly. Well, not the Premier, because the Lake Placid is bigger than the Lake George. But there's 3 major turf races up here for Distaffers. 2 for the 3-year-olds and the huge one for the olders. So he's won 12 out of around 15, not the chalk. Apparently there is a price to be found out there.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. When we come back, Philly marathoners on the turf.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the dark horse.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at CapitalOTB.com or CapitalOTBBet.com and claim your free money.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad. Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit RTN.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Race 7 is the Glens Falls, and I mentioned this yesterday about the Lake George. Besides, for me personally, besides the fact that I'm much older than when it was a 4-week meet, the extension of the meet has been great in every other area for me. And the Glens Falls was a race like the Lake George with more time up here. They gave us a long distance turf marathon for the distaffers. I think it used to be run at 11. Then they made it 12 for them, but I'm guessing off the top of my head, this is probably about the 30th running of the Glens Falls.
I'm 6'1", 5 and 8. I will put Beliza on top, Miguel Clement trainee, and Miguel obviously going well. Nice win in the United States debut, Sheepshead Bay back in May, and then third place finish last time, but both with solid numbers that match up with this group. Had the career over in Europe, which will play into if the turf isn't firm today. So I'll go with that one on top. Second spot, we'll go with La Mahena, another Miguel Clement trainee coming off a nice win last time. Belmont at Aqueduct and an optional claimer, but has plenty of stakes experience underneath. And then long ago in the third spot, coming in off a couple of nice efforts, should be a player as well. And again, has some European form that may play into the track condition. In the seventh, Glens Falls, 6'1", 5 and 8.
And you've never said this before, so I want to put it, but are the Beyer speed figures on turf less influential?
Yeah.
Because shouldn't there be more than half a point difference between the 1 and the 6?
Yeah.
I don't think they should be that close based on the Beyers. And I am thinking that at the end of the wagering, they're not going to be that close. I'm 1-5-6 in this. And the reason is I think you're looking at like 9-2 and maybe like 8-5. I expected to be. I was actually surprised when I saw a half a point difference between the 1 and the 6, both coming out of Miguel Clement's barn. I was like, Belize's like 3 lengths better, maybe 4. And I thought I'd get a better price. And I know it sounds funny in a 12-furlong race, but I like being inside. And it's on the inner turf, so that means he's going to be right on the hedge. 1-5-6 for me.
8th race today, again, off the turf for conditional claimers, going 5.5.
The first game is who's staying, who's going. The MTOs might be in very good spot here. The 10, 11, 12. My favorite game is who would be coming out. I'm guessing the 6, 7, 8, 9, the 4. And I think the 10, 11, 12 are in very good spot here. I think this race, but you would think it's 5.5, the turf or something. But I'm thinking at this moment, this one might be greatly influenced. And the MTOs might, in my opinion, the MTOs are in a much stronger position in this race than the earlier race.
I have it 11, 12, 5, and 3. She's complicated for Linda Rice. Again, she's kind of clever with these spots, although this one's taking a notable drop, which concerns me. But I'll go there. Second slot, I am in the body of the field. No, second slot, I am – I actually I numbered them funny here, but I'll go with the 12. And then I did go back into the body of the field. I originally was going back and forth, but I put on the sheet, so I'll go 11, 12. Ragtime Sizzle, again, another one on the MTO list that I think is going to be well suited, getting the spot they want. And then Speed of Sound. Again, I went back and forth with the 5 and the 12. If this one sticks in being by Vekoma, I think is very interesting in here. 11, 12, 5, and 3.
And at sea level, about what is the Speed of Sound?
I have no idea.
660 rings a bell. 660.
I'm not even making a good guess. There.
Okay, because what was it? Chuck Yeager, who went faster than the Speed of Sound. Was that the
maybe?
Thing? Okay, I don't know. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, the Sunday final daily double.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
And welcome back. Race number 9, optionals in for 51X. Going a mile as it was scheduled on the dirt.
2, 1, 6, and 5. The number 2 cut the cord on top for me off a good try last time. Claimed away from Jeremiah, moves into the barn of Michelle G and Julia. We'll see what the new barn can do. Kendrick hops on board. He's had experience with this horse, however. I think off that June race is definitely a player in here. Blinkers at it. Reddington going out for Jay Provenzano's Flying P. Comes in off a stiffer race last time. Class drop, I think, will be notable. And then Warrior Richard in the 3rd spot. A couple of good tries in the most recent efforts for Joe Sharp, who's, again, having a good meet. And Jose Ortiz on board. In the 9th, I have a 2, 1, 6, and 5.
I just shook it up a little bit, but I'm 6, 2, 1 here. Joe Sharp, obviously, having a fantastic meet. The horse, I just wanted to bring your attention, Capital Idea, who is making the first start of the year, now in the Bill Mott barn, listed as first-time gelding. I don't think the surface will hurt them. I think you're going to get a solid price. You get the outside post position, but I thought this was a very even match race. I had everybody live in this except the horse coming off of the 2-year layoff, and I don't really have any knock about that, but 6, 2, 1, but the 7 intrigues me mightily in this race. I have, to me, this is like impossible for the horizontals. I'm like, unless I guess you have 3 singles someplace else, because I have everybody live. I have Capital. Who'd you say was your 4th horse? Do you remember? It's not a big a deal. It's probably the
5.
The 5, right? And he's in it. The 4 is in it. The 7's in it for me. Only passed the hat for the great Bill Mott off a 2-year layoff. He's on the outside looking in. He's not on the outside for me. He's on the outside looking in.
10th and final today. Again, main track, maiden claimers going a mile and 60. Oh, I don't know.
Mile,
yeah.
Mile. The older's going a mile. What's this? 100,000, right?
Yeah.
Just some of it's less relevant, but to make it easier, In the main body, the 1 and the 7 are the only ones not first-time tag. And in the MTOs, they're outsiders. I miss it, but my opinion is that, when he sets the odds, like it's for, they're going to get a dirt race, and you're probably guessing some moisture. So I'm 6'5", 11. I will say this. Hard Spun to me, he stands for 25,000. And I am not a consultant for people to bring their mares to. But Hard Spun would be way up on my list for affordability and versatility. It might be my favorite trainer line ever, because not only do I think the trainer believed it, he proved it. He said to me right over there at a picnic table, Larry Jones, wait to hear this line. It was either going to be the Secretariat at 10 furlongs on the turf or the then King's Bishop, the now Alan Jerkins, 7 on the dirt. And he said there was a huge deal, as there usually is, but you need the grade 1. And he said, I could have won either one. And he backhand slapped at my first defense in the King's Bishop like he was a plater. But to think that you can win the premier 3-year-old filly turf race in America or the premier 3-year-old sprint race in America with Hard Spun, either one. And I believe him to this day. 6'5", 11 for me.
I'm 11, 13, 12, and 4. Antietam is in the body of the race.
Been there.
Only dirt races, and so I think he's going to be okay. Nance and Salvation, MTOs that both are from Linda Rice, and both are players in here getting the surface they want. So, again, the finale, 11, 13, 12, and 4.
With that spelling, it's got to be Jim Nance, right? They must have called him up and said, we name a horse of you. Antietam, for those who were bored by history, the single worst day in the history of the United States. That was on my famous Laurel, Charlestown, Keeneland racetrack visiting. Seth goes, the light's on the press box at Charlestown, but is anybody home? Very unique. I told you, right? The place is immaculate. The racetrack, immaculate. The flowers and everything, it's gorgeous. The racing was fun, let's say. The bull ran.
Right, that counts. All right. We're going to wrap it up for Handicapper Sport. Co-host Steve Bick is in the house.
Yes.
So
camped out.
Firing in. So we will.
Well, who's the second guest?
We will fire it up.
Johnny, Ron Anderson, and Cat.
Okay. Well, there you go. Sounds like a
Johnny V, Ron Anderson.
Yeah.
Callie coming up. So
Ron Anderson had some of the best books in my adult lifetime.
At the top of the hour.
And just, I'm not the weather person, but the day is supposed to get nicer. That's what I'll leave you with. We're off the turf for everything for the Glens Falls, but give it some time. Don't cancel your plans yet. It could turn out to be a nice day. He stays, I go. Have a great Sunday.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.